on the front, I think you see the word Mahasatipatthana meditation center. Do you know what it means?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Maha is great. Satipatthana is the being mindful.
Okay.
So greatly we practice meditation is basically being mindful. So Mahasatipatthana is really the absorb yourself at the present moment. Do not forget the present moment. So when we practice, we always try to know what we are doing, being mindful of what we're doing.
Okay.
And because if we can do that, then the mind is not scattered. The mind can focus, stay in the present moment. It's not in the past, not in the future. It will be really at the present moment. And because of that, then we begin to see things as they really are.
Mm.
This center began construction in 2017.
Oh,
Basically,
okay.
everything comes and we start construction from since then.
Okay, so it hasn't been here.
It hasn't
Quite-
been here long.
quite
Quite
10
long.
years, okay.
Yeah. So, well, 10 years is when it started. Previously, it was inside is an island, and part of that was offered to us, to the organization,
Okay.
from one of the donors in 2014.
Oh,
And
okay.
then after that, we start putting together, submitting the master plan, applying for permit and all that. So in 2017, we start construction. We start bringing in water line and sewage line, all that connection and electricity, because that was basically forest inside before.
Oh, okay.
So we have to create all the pot inside.
Okay.
Here you can see the hands are a little bit different now. The hand is touching the ground. So here signifies the place where he become enlightened
Okay.
at the age of 35. So he was a prince. He was born as a prince. That's his mother holding the tree. The story is that when she was pregnant, she wanted to go back to her country. Along the way, she found a garden, something like this.
Mhm.
And then she stopped by, and as she was touching one of the tree, the Buddha kind of walked out from her armpit. And
Oh, okay.
And so he was born as a prince. He growed up to the age of 29. Then he go out of his castle. Here, the hand gesture is not like turning. It's like how we usually do when we're meditating.
Yes.
So the Buddha is meditating not to get rid of anything, because he already get rid of all the defilement. He just sits to enjoy the bliss of the nibbana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as a Buddha. You see the two deer and the 5 disciples.
Yes.
So, and then the Buddha, if you see clearly, closely, you can see his hand gesture. It's like he's turning. It's called turning the wheel of Dharma. He gave the first sermon after becoming enlightened. 2 months after that, he gave the first sermon. So here it represents the first sermon, and it's the beginning of his teaching, the beginning of Dharma. So that's represent that. Here the Buddha, there's a stair. So basically, after becoming enlightened, a few years after that, he went up to the heaven where his mother who passed away when he was young, she's a celestial being up there. So he came up there to give the sermon so that she can become enlightened also.
Oh,
And
okay.
after that, he walked down. So the stair signify walking down from heaven with the two celestial being kind of covering and
Okay.
shade, keeping it in the shade. Here represents the Buddha. Every day the Buddha went alms. That means he allowed the devotees have a chance to gain merits. So he carried a bowl into the village, and sometimes he followed by his disciple. Everyone carried a bowl, and then whatever the villagers have on that day, they can always offer into the bowl for the Buddha, like whatever kind of food and things like that.
Right.
And then the Buddha and the monk would go back to the monastery to partake the food. So that's a chance for, so the monk does not have to worry about cooking or finding we call it the requisite. But they can go to the village and just depending on the villagers, whatever they have on that day. So then the monk would receive and take that. this side, you see the laying down Buddha. That's where the Buddha passed away. Basically, it means he entered Nirvana, Nirvana at the age of 80. So here, basically, we are recreating India because Buddha came from India. That is the dining hall. In here, basically, we have the dining hall. The cabins are the dormitory where the yogi, the meditator will stay.
Okay.
And then the meditation hall when they practice. So basically that they will not do any cooking. They just rest in their room and then eat in the dining hall and then practice in the meditation hall.
Okay.
Here's the master cabin. The master is our teachers. When he comes, he stay here.
Okay.
And during the retreat, the meditator come for interview, because sometimes when during your practice, sometimes you may have questions for the master. Then this is where you come for interview.
Okay.
This is the entrance to the meditation hall, so we can go inside a little bit.
Okay.
So meditation is basically being mindful, and here, if we can be mindful in all different posture, because we want to be able to be mindful the whole day.
Right.
So the whole day means we are standing, sitting. So not only sitting, we have wherever we stand, we try to be mindful. Walking, laying down also.
Okay.
So the whole day long, eating also, seeing, hearing. When we eat, we try to be mindful also. So when they come here, if they are new, we allow them to hear the instruction, and then they will learn, what do I do when I eat? How can I be mindful? How do I do walking meditations? Yes.
Okay, so this particular temple is more the Theravada
Yes,
sort of tradition?
that's right.
Okay.
Yes. So it can be say when Buddhism spread to the north and then to the south. So we are more of the southern route. And then when Buddhism go to Tibetan, to China and Taiwan and go back to Vietnam, so it's called the northern route from India.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say is kind of a main difference almost
From the two routes?
in the teaching? Yeah.
I think both. From my perspective, because I was part of that also, the northern route. Because in Vietnam, most of us are influenced by China.
Okay.
So Buddhism comes from China, so we are part of the northern route. So the southern route in Vietnam is very new, actually.
Okay.
And it came from Cambodia, and then a country like Thailand, Myanmar, Sri Lanka. So just a few countries that practice the Theravada. So from my understanding, they are both good. I really enjoy as a child to go to the Mahayana practice, Zen or chanting. Chanting, vegetarian food, focus entirely on vegetarian food, and just do a lot of things that may be beneficial to others also, like doing helping here and there, a lot of compassion. Yeah, a lot of compassion, as you can see with the I think the Dalai Lama.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of compassion involved, a lot of loving kindness to others, be able to embrace and practice together with others. So, and I think one of the things is that in the Northern Route, the idea is that we want to help each other so we can all become enlightened and be liberated together, I think. The other part of the Southern Route is we understand that it's very hard to become enlightened. Even now that the Buddha teaching is still around, to be able to get rid of, look inside, and so we have to walk on our own.
Okay.
It's less group things, but more like we live in the forest, for instance. We do meditation where you are basically on your own. Your meditation, you see your own body and mind, and then from there you can get to liberate on your own. And then after that, whatever you know, you can begin to share with others, just like the Buddha did. The Buddha become enlightened by himself, and then after that he can actually start teaching. So only when you become enlightened that you can start teaching others. So for us, we are more of an individual, what shall we call this, the word salvation? Just
Okay.
kind of find our own path and work our own to find the enlightenment. And then once we have achieved that, then we can be able to tell others, share with others people. In the southern route, we go alms. We go alms more often, and that's why we don't particularly ask for any particular food. So someday people may have meat, fish, whatever food that they have, but then they can offer, and then we just eat. So just like the Buddha, he just eat whatever offer. But for the northern route, I think because of the weather, maybe they may not be able to go alms as much. So that means they stay in their temple more, like the Zen or the Shaolin temple.
Yes,
Like
yes.
they stay and they can do their own. They're actually very good cook. They take care of themselves, and they live in a community where they take and they can do things. So they are less dependent on the devotee on that sense. They can take care of themselves, and if that's the case, then they can focus more on vegetarian food only.
Okay.
Because for a monk, I think if you cook food or meat or something, doesn't seem suitable. But so
Right.
that makes sense. So they would prefer just vegetarian food. For us, if we go alms into one of the village, then whatever is offered to us, then we eat that. So I noticed that's one of the differences also. So that is basically there are many variations, some tradition also. Here for us, yeah, we also is related to the breath, but we direct the mind to the abdomen.
Okay.
We observe the rising and falling of the abdomen. So as we breathe in, there's a rising. As we breathe out, there's a falling. So we direct the minds to that, and then just kind of begin to see it, how it comes and goes. It's just an object, so that we can stay and gain concentration, just like when you observe the breath. So,
Right.
but as you observe them, if anything arises, then we have awareness of them. There are two kinds of meditation. One is if you don't want to aware of them and just focus entirely on that object, then it's called absorption meditation, where it allows you to gain concentration, but you are not aware of anything else. You don't want to aware of anything else, almost neglecting everything else, so that the mind can stay focused on that one object, which doesn't change. So but another type of meditation is called insight meditation, where you actually observe what is most obvious in the present moment through the sixth sense door. So if you hear something that is very obvious right now, then we note that as hearing. If we are seeing something right now, if we happen to be opening our eye, then we know seeing. And then after that, if there's no objects obvious, then of course we go back to our home objects. Everywhere we think there's a self or someone who we can look to or protect. Basically, the Buddha said there's nothing. I think it's just body and mind. Everything is just karma, cause and effect. We have the body and mind actually because of what we did in the past. We have this life because of what we did in the previous life. And if we did not have defilement in the previous life, then we no longer have any future life. That is the meaning of enlightenment. So when the Buddha lay down, you see the laying down, that means that he no longer have any future life because he has cut up all the defilement. The defilement is the thing that makes us create karma. And the karma is the thing that make us go through cycles of rebirth. So the non-self, in general, basically, I can just say, for instance, when the pain arises, the instant thing that we do is say, wait, my pain, the pain on my foot, and because of that, I feel very uncomfortable. I have to do something about it. So it's just like that. It's just very, very obvious. That's how we do react to it. Very natural reaction. But as a meditator, when the pain arises, we are asked to observe them, pain, pain, pain. And as you observe them as it is, you can almost see it as it is. You see how they arise, how they disappear, and then they disappear. So seeing that, you don't see any I in it. There's no my pain. Pain is just pain. It's just a phenomenal arise. Maybe because we sit too long, it arises. Maybe because of the weather or the food we eat. It arises because of condition, but having arisen, it also disappears. It doesn't stay. So mindfulness allows to see that. The nature of impermanence, and then is satisfaction because of impermanence, and then because of that, we don't have control over it. It arises because of condition, and then but having arisen, it disappears. So there's no self, there's no my happiness, there's no my sadness. It's just happy as it is, sad as it is, and then both of them arise and disappear also. With the sitting, then we can gain a lot of concentration. The mind can stay focused more and more. But with the walking, we can develop effort because we need to put effort to when we are walking, and those two need to be balanced, the effort and the concentration, and that's why we have them equally. 1 hour sitting, 1 hour walking. So it's actually important that we encourage the meditator to do that also. So for walking, when they start to stand up, they begin to aware of that. They are aware that they are standing up. So carry that mindfulness even while they stand up. And then they will walk mindfully, left step, right step, aware. If it's right step, then they know right step. If it's left step, then they know left step. And then they walk to a place where they can go back and forth during the walking meditation for 1 hour. Generally, when walking, the most obvious thing is the movement of the foot.
Right.
So then we are not observing the breath, we're not observing rising and falling. Our mind direct to the foot, and then observe the walking movement, the movement as our home objects. So we observe it continuously, right step, left step. Our mind is on the movement itself, right step, left step. And so we can do this for the first 20 minutes. Because it's an easy noting, just one easy noting. After that, the middle 20 minutes, then we start to do slower. Now we have more noting. Now we know lifting, stepping down, lifting, stepping down. So the mind begins to aware more. Okay. The mind is now engaged. So now it can observe more. So it can know lifting, stepping down, lifting, stepping down. And as it notes that lifting and stepping down continuously, the mind begins to see that within the lifting, sometimes you can feel vibrations, tensions, pressure, hardness, softness, movement, all kind of things. You begin to see as you being mindful of that. So, and then when you step on the ground, of course, you begin to feel, there's a touching. It becomes very obvious, touch to the ground. So that is what we can do in the middle 20 minutes, just a two noting. And then the last 20 minutes, now the mind is really sharp.
Right.
So it can know more. So we can encourage the meditator to know lifting, stepping forward, and stepping down. So now it's 3 noting. So the yogi, the meditator begin to really walk very mindfully, very with full awareness, basically. Right. Because every step he try to observe the lifting fully from the beginning to the end. Stepping forward also, he fully engage his mind and observe, and stepping down. So if his mind can fully engage during that whole time, then the mind will not be scattered. The mind stay with the object, with the presently arising, and during that moment, then the defilement cannot arise, basically. And then he can find peace and joy because the mind and body are together at that present moment. one moment at a time.
Okay.
One of the things we really appreciate also is with the mindfulness practice, it's very easy to explain to others from different religions, different age, different ethnicity, and we can tell them, and they can always join us, even though they don't have to be a Buddhist.
Okay.
For the monks, every day we try to wake up at 4:30, do the morning chanting, do the meditation until 6, and then have breakfast. And then after that we rest a little bit until 8, and then we do chores around to help maintain the center until 10:30 or something. Then it's time to go arms for lunch, and then till we go arms, and after lunch then we rest a little bit until 1. And then we start doing our own study, reading, and then maybe 2 o'clock then we meet to meditate, and then 2 to 3, and then 3 to 4 we do our own reading. Some people may do walking meditation, and then 4 o'clock then we listen to a recorded teaching from our master from previous. So every day we have a chance to listen and listen again and again and again from 4 to 5. And then 5 to 6 is the time where we kind of rest a little bit and take shower, do kind of our personal things, clean our room, and then 6 p.m. then we meet again for the evening chanting, and then meditate until 7 to 8 we do walking meditation or just do more reading. 8 to 9 is the last session of the day, meditation, and then 9 o'clock everyone go back to their room and just do whatever in the room, study or practicing, and then 10 o'clock is when we go to sleep. I enjoy talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
I enjoyed too. I think I learned a lot more than I ever could have from reading the books. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And so again, any question you have later on, just let us know.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
He's our contact.
Oh, okay.
We're doing a documentary. And then the